This is Sweet 18, Day 3. I'm sending it to you early so that you can look ahead and get an idea of how to do the problems. And then when we do the problems in class, you'll have a head start on other students and be able to potentially also win some of the games that we're playing. So question 1 says, what is the value of 2/3 to the third power? So if you remember from before, the power means that we're going to do 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3. And so that power language is really important because it means that we're doing repeated multiplication. And so we did 2/3 this one time, 2 times, 3 times. So my answer is going to be 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 gives me 8. And then down here, 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So my answer is 8 over 27. Look at question number 2 over here. It says a local garden center has small tillers for rent. There's an initial charge of $20 plus $2.50 per day. The tiller is rented. Which expression shows the cost of renting the tiller for D days? So I look at this, I think about it, and I'm like, oh, this is the $20. I pay that one time. And then the $2.50 per day, if I keep it for 5 days, then I'm keeping it for 5 days. So this happens, $2.50 happens many times. So it makes sense then that we look and see what happens one time. So here, the D for days, that's saying that we pay $20 per day and negative $2.50. So that doesn't make any sense. Here we pay $20 per day plus $2.50. That doesn't make any sense. Here we pay negative $20 and then $2.50 per day. That doesn't make any sense. And here we pay $20 one time and then $2.50 every day. So the answer here is B. Question 3 says, what is the value of 1/4 x to the third plus 5 when x equals 2? So what is the value of 1/4 x to the third plus 5 when x is equal to 2? And so I'm going to go ahead and write this. I'll zoom in a little bit. I have 1/4, and then I'm going to put parentheses instead of an x because the x told me it's 2. So inside that parentheses, I'm going to put 2. And it's to the third power plus 5. And so I substituted, instead of an x, I put this 2. So now let's write our focus box. This tells me with PEMDAS, this is a calculator inactive question. We did parentheses. I can't do anything more there. And so now I'm going to do exponents. And remember that multiply and divide are together. You don't do multiply first or divide first. They're together, and add and subtract are together. So here I have 1/4. 2 to the third is 2 times 2 times 2, which is going to be 8. So I have 1/4 times 8 plus 5. And 1/4 times 8 is going to be 2, because it's like doing 1 times 8 divided by 4, because this fraction bar means divide. And so 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. Question 4, Jill needs $45 for a class trip. She earns $9 each week. How many weeks will it take her to earn $45? So basically, I'm taking 45. I'm going to divide by 9. And I know directly, if you know your multiplication tables, that 45 divided by 9 is going to be 5. So it says how many weeks does she need? So 5 weeks, 5W for weeks. Question 5 says, which point on the number line represents -3 and 1/2? So let's always start at 0 and it's negative. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then a little bit more. That's going to be Q. So the point here is Q. Question 6 says, which can be represented by the expression 4a minus 2? So let's look. 2 less means minus 2. Then 4 times a number. 4a. So that's promising. The difference between 2, difference means subtract, and 4 times a number. Okay, that's backwards, but it sounds good. But that one's backwards. A number multiplied by 4, okay, that's 4a, subtracted from 2. So that would be 2 minus 4 times a. Not subtracted by 2, but from 2. So that means the 2 comes first. So that's not right because it's backwards. And then 2 less than a number a. So that would just be a minus 2. So that one's wrong as well. So my answer here is A. Question 7 says, which expression is equivalent to this formula here? I want to have some space, so I'm going to zoom in. So here we want to set up our t-chart. So I'm going to have A, and I see numbers, and I see R. And so I have 3A, and I like to put boxes around these. Remember to include your negative with your box. And that just helps me to divide it up. There's a -5, so that goes in the number section. There's a +6A. There's a 2R. And there's a -A. So if I add these together, I get -5, 2R, 3A plus 6A gives me 9A, and then a -1 gives me 8A. If I look at this, I've got 8A plus 2R minus 5. So that's D, 8A plus 2R minus 5. Number 8 says Michael can use the equation S equals 15W to calculate the amount of money in his savings account, where S stands for the total, let's circle that total amount of money, and W stands for the number of weeks. So S equals 15W. How many weeks had Michael put money into his savings account if Michael has $105? So 105 is his money, his total. So we're going to go 105 where S is equals 15W. When I do this, I draw the wall. And then we need to, this is 15 times W because when a letter is beside a number, it means multiply. So we're going to divide by 15 on both sides because the rule says whatever I do on one side, I do the same thing on the other. And 105 divided by 15 should, well, let's calculate it. So we're going to start from division. 105 divided by 15. So we just need to count 15, 30, 45, 60. If we add 5 more, that's going to be 75, 90, 105. So I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be 7 here. So my answer is B, 7 weeks. Question 9 says if x over 2 equals 4, So some number divided by 2 equals 4. And so remember, we do the opposite. So we're going to do times 2. And these cancel out because they're opposites, and do times 2 here. And I get x equals 8. Because 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. Always go back and check your work and make sure the answer you got makes sense in the problem. So now it says, what is the value of 2 parentheses? And then there was an x there, but we know that x is 8. So we're going to put in 8 instead. So 8 plus 7. So this is going to be 15 in parentheses, and there's 2. So 2 times 15 is equal to 30. So my answer here is 30, and that is D. Number 10 says the length of a rectangle is L units long. The width of a rectangle is 6 times the length. Which choice is the correct expression for the perimeter of a rectangle? So let's look at it. Draw my rectangle. It says the length of a rectangle is L. Use a script L units long. The width of a rectangle is 6 times the length. So let's do 6 times L. So this is going to be 6 times L. So I have 6 L's, and that's what's the perimeter. So I'm adding up the perimeter. I have 6 L's plus 6 L's plus an L plus an L. So altogether, this gives me 6 plus 6 is 12 plus 1 plus 1, because that's just 1 L and 1 L. It gives me 14 L's. So my answer is B, 14 L's. Question number 11 says, Jake makes 3 out of 15 of his free throw shots. What percentage of the free throw shots does Jake make? So we're going to write 3 out of 15. And so if we were to go to 100, we need to go ahead and maybe simplify this, because I don't know that going from 15 to 100 is easy, but I do know that doing 3 times 5 gives me 15. And so, since my arrow here is going down to go up into the empty box, it's opposite directions, so we need to do the opposite operation. So here I did 3 times 5 to get 15, so I'm going to do 100 divided by 5, and that gives me 20, because 5 goes into 10 2 times, and then there's a 0. So that's 20. So my answer here is D, 20%. Question 12 says, which choice is equivalent to the expression 4 parentheses 7x minus 5? So again, we want to set up our box method. 7x minus 5. So I just multiply 4 times 7x. It's like when we did multiplying in 5th grade multiplication. 4 times 7 is 28x. And then 4 times negative 5, 4 times 5 is going to be 20, but it's a negative, so it's going to be minus. So this gives me 28x minus 20. And that's going to be B. Question 13 says, in the coordinate plane, what is the distance between 4, 5 and negative 2, 5? And again, I like to draw these. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's not exact. It's just estimating. I write 4, 5. I went up 5. And then I go negative 2, 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is negative 2, 5. And so I'm thinking about it, and I have to go 1, 2 to get to 0. Then I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to get here. So this is 4, this is 2, and together that makes 6 units. Question 14 says, Jack drew a number line on his paper. Jack drew a new point 80% of the distance from point F to point J. So I'm going to draw point F and point J. Between which two letters does the new point lie? Okay, so I look here and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps. So that's going to be 4. So that if I divide by 4 is a quarter. So that's going to be 25, 50, 75, and then 100. And this is 0. And so 80% is going to be somewhere in here. And so that's going to be between I and J. So the answer here is B, I, and J. The table below shows the number of tickets X sold at a carnival and the amounts of money Y in dollars collected. And it says, which equation represents the relationship? Now, pause. I've got Y's and X's. So it says the number of tickets is X. So I'm going to write X up here so I don't get confused. And the money is Y. So I'm going to write Y up here so I don't get confused. Which equation represents the relationship? So let's look. We've got 5 and 15, 10 and 30, 15 and 45. So it looks like this is times 3. So we'll wait on that, but let's see if that works. Is there anything that looks like times 3 down here? So D looks like times 3. So let's see if D works. So we take the Y is 15. So Y 15 equals 3 parentheses. And instead of an X, I'm going to put 5. 3 times 5 is 15. That works. So the answer here is B. Number 16, the students in a shop class at a middle school are building a giant wooden L for their school. The figure is shown below. What is the area of the wooden L? So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and cut it up. So I'm going to cut it up here. You could cut it here as well, but I'm just cut this way. And so if I do this, that's 6 times 2 gives me 12 in here. And it's feet squared. I'm not going to write it because it's too small. When I cut this section off, it took away 2 feet. So this is 2. And that means that this isn't 8 anymore. It's 6 because 6 plus 2 gives me 8 total. So I have 6 times 2 gives me 12. So I have 12 plus 12 is equal to 24 feet squared because we're in 2D, area is always squared. So that's going to be B, 24. Number 17 says, what is the volume of the right rectangular prism below? And so if we take this, I have 8 times 12 and 1/2 times 4 and 1/2. So if I'm multiplying these, I could type this into the calculator. And my calculator is not as nice as the other calculators. Oh, never mind. So we have 8 times 12. Nope. So you would do 12 and 1/2. On yours, you would type 12 ABC 1 ABC 2. That's on the home calculators. I can go ahead and type that there. We're right here. So this would be, if I was doing it, I would type 12 A B C 1 A B C 2. And that the reason for that is because that's my fraction button on calculators from school. We're using Desmos, so that's 12 and 1/2 times. That's going to be 4 and 1/2. So that's 4, 1/2. My answer is 450. So here I'm going to take 450 cubic units. That's my final answer. Let's go ahead and jump over here to the final question. Lucia is wrapping packages in the shape of a rectangular prism. That's a triangular prism, my bad. The net of the prism is shown below. Lucia has 6 packages to wrap. What is the combined surface area of all 6 packages? This is a trick. They're trying to get you to put the wrong answer. So let's look. We have 26 times 13 is this rectangle here. So let's do 26. Clear. 26 times 13 is 338. So this is going to be 338. And then you would do 10 times 26. I'm going to do, well, that's easy because you just add a 0. So that's 260. And then here, this would be 13 again. So that's 338. Over here, I know that my base is 10. My base here is 10. My height is 12. So that's 10 times 12 divided by 2. And so we know that 12 divided by 2 is 6. So this is 10 times 6 gives me 60. This is 60. This is 60. So now we add them. We have 338 plus 338 plus 60 plus 60. So 8 plus 8 is 16. So I carry the 1 and put the 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. This 3 makes another 6. So that's 18, 19. Put in 9, carry the 1. Then 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1 is 7. So it's 796 inches squared. Let's use the calculator just to check our work. So I had 338, and 260. So that's 26 times 13. Plus times 2 plus 260. Well, I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? 6 plus 6 is 12. 16, carry the 1. What did I do wrong? 338. Ooh, I forgot the 260 straight up. 260. Okay, cool. 6, 9 plus 6 gives me 15. Carry the 1. 7 plus 7 is 10. 1,056. Okay, now I'm where I need to be. Okay, 1,056. Okay, so this is plus 120. Really, it's 60 plus 60. I just added it together altogether. 1,056. But then we have to take this and do 1,056. That's for one package times 6 packages. Let's do times 6. Undo that. Equals times 6. 6,336. 6,336 inches squared. And that's my answer.